Christine talks with Connor and Jack from Robot Rampage in New Zealand about their upcoming international contest of combat robotics.
When the matches start, the teams blindly choose. You don't know what the opposition's putting in. Those two robots fight. The winner stays in, and then the other team gets to choose of their remaining robots what to put in, and it goes back and forth like that until 5 robots from one team have been knocked out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Outside of the Box. And today we're talking about a really exciting event that is unfortunately far away from me. So for those that are in Australia and New Zealand, please attend because you're a little bit closer. But I am here talking to Jack Barker and Connor Benton about Robot Rampage in New Zealand that is upcoming very shortly. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us on. It's great to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm really excited about this event. When I first saw something about it, I was like, this sounds really cool. I mean, the scale of it maybe isn't quite like the Olympics, but because of the structure and everything, I almost look at it as like the Olympics of BattleBots. So I think that that's a lot of fun. First of all, kind of tell me about the event and the idea of setting it up the way that you have, because I think that it's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's quite different to how events normally run. So normally when you have a combat robotics event, it's like 1v1 and you'll play out a tournament and you'll get sort of one winner, right? And over the years, that's been awesome. But I think it can be quite hard to follow a specific team for a long time for the whole competition. So we kind of sat down, Nick and I mostly, and thought, how can we create sort of a different format that will really create an engagement factor and make people want to watch the whole event and be able to support people for longer. Like you sit down and watch an American football game, for example, you're sitting there for 3 hours supporting one team, right? And we want that sort of enthusiasm for people with robot teams as well. So we've kind of mixed the format up a little bit. So instead of doing sort of individual robots as teams, we've invited countries to come and bring 5 robots as part of the team. And then we're going to play them against each other as teams of 5 in a little bit different format. So we had a go at it in August, Australia versus New Zealand as a trial. And then this is sort of our trial for the first sort of multinational event. And we got really big plans to go from there. So, yeah.
Well, that's really exciting. I mean, obviously, like it would be great for this event to go well because it would be, wonderful to see it continue to expand because there are so many countries out there that have a fairly decent presence in terms of combat robotics that for people that don't follow the sport internationally might not know that. But I think that it's pretty exciting. So one thing that I wanted to ask about is just like when you were looking at the different countries for this event and the different robots and people that you were trying to bring in, what types of things were you looking at when making those decisions?
Yeah, I guess Connor can probably tell you a bit about the New Zealand team. He made that selection. But when we're looking at the overseas teams, obviously the Aussies, we've got a bit of a rivalry with. We've been over there to compete. They've been here to compete before. So we really wanted to bring them back. So they're bringing a team over. And then, obviously the featherweight scene in America is huge right now with like NHRL. They're really like pumping the robots out, really high quality robots. So we definitely wanted to bring them in, a team of top Americans. Brazil's been obviously the top of the game for years and years. So, they were an obvious choice as well. We were hoping to get the likes of like the UK and people like that. But I think for the first year, we're just keeping it to 4 just to try and, test the waters a little bit. And also it's a long way for them to come. So, we're really stoked that we have those 4 teams, kind of major players in the featherweight scene coming to New Zealand. But yeah, Connor, maybe you can talk about how the team actually gets selected, I guess, and the types of robots in it. Yeah, because that's kind of like a special thing with this format as well.
Yeah, sure. So on that side, with the actually selecting robots in the team, one thing that Jack didn't mention earlier is that, there's the 5 robots, but you're only allowed a certain number of each robot in the team. So there's a list of archetypes. So you got like your vertical spinner, your horizontal spinners, your lifters, overhead attack. All those are broken down into a big list. and you're only allowed one of each archetype in the team. So it adds an interesting dynamic there where it's not just 5 verts against 5 verts. You're actually getting a bit more of that, or who are we going to put in against this robot, because there's a vertical spinner in the field currently, and there's a bit more of that sort of like Pokemon battle style going on. And so in selecting teams, there's a certain amount of actually, can we fill all the archetype spots? Because at the moment, people build heavily for the vert, but also B, of those options, what's going to make the most well-rounded team, sort of looking at the potential options for the opposition, who they might bring, and then how are we going to construct the team to best attack what we expect them to bring. And so there's a certain amount of complementing skill sets between the robots and archetypes, and how we think it's going to best achieve that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that. Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh no, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, one of the things that we were trying to do when creating this competition was to create an even playing field for all the archetypes, right? Because you look at combat robotics right now, you've got your big vertical spinners, your big horizontal spinners, and they sort of been dominating the sport for 10 years now. So we want to create a competition format that encourages people to build competitive robots of the other types, and makes them part of a competitive team. So we don't want a team full of 5 vertical spinners, right? So every team's coming with at least 4 different styles of robot, which is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I think I was most interested in seeing this competition, because I am a strong believer in build diversity. And if you don't have different types of robots, honestly, for me, it's not that interesting. And having those different types, I think that it forces you to innovate more and make those plans to say, like, okay, I'm fighting this robot now, but then this other robot, I may have to think about my strategy a little bit differently. Did the
Mhm.
decision to do that, did that like play heavily into your philosophy about what the robot landscape should look like?
Yeah, I think specifically the match format kind of helps that too, because the way the match works is if you win your individual fight, you stay in for the next match, right? You get 8 minutes to repair your robot, and that's really enough to change your batteries. And then your opponent knows what they're going to be playing next, right? So you might have your vertical spinner in, they might have a choice of like lifter. They know what you've got on your vertical spinner. Have you got forks? Have you got wedges? So they're going to be trying to counteract what you've already put in the ring, which is really cool. And it's sort of a self-balancing act. So if people are really smart about how they play their robots, it can be really effective. Like if they put their big hitters in first, that's one strategy. Or if they put maybe they're robots that are not doing as much damage but can take a lot of damage first, which is what Connor did when we played Australia. Just absorb and let the other robots destroy themselves before you put the big hitters in to finish them off. So there's all sorts of different strategies where you can actually play and kind of work out where those archetypes fit best in your team. Yeah.
I think it'd be worth also taking one step back further and explaining the full match as well. So explain that
Mhm.
there's 5 robots in a team. You've got to have 4 unique styles. You're allowed 1 duplicate archetype. So like last in October or August, we had 2 vertical spinners, and in this, a drum and and a classic sort of vertical disc spinner are the same archetype. And then when the matches start, the teams blindly choose a robot to put in the arena. So you don't know what the opposition's putting in, and then those 2 robots fight, and then the winning, like Jack explained, the winner stays in, has 8 minutes to repair in the arena, and then the other team gets to choose of their remaining robots what to put in, and it goes back and forth like that until 5 robots from one team have been knocked out. And then there's one also spot where you can choose during the competition to, if your robot wins, to put it to the back of your roster. So say, I won the first match, and we say, actually, we think they're going to put this robot in, but I don't really want to verse that. We can, at one point throughout the whole match, we can take it out, and it has to be played last in the schedule of your robots. So, and it goes back to a sort of a blind selection between the teams. So giving a bit of background for people that don't know about the full how the matches fully work. I think it's pretty useful there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's really interesting, and it adds a whole different level of like what you have to think about when it comes to the fights. Because I mean, I'm not a high level builder, but I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been like, yeah, I could be ready to go again in 8 minutes. But that's exactly why, you're bringing kind of the best of the best of, people that are going to be up to the task. Is this is going to be like streamed as well, not just able to see live?
Yeah, so we'll be running a live stream like we have been for all of our other events. We've got an awesome team that comes in, all volunteer, and they put that on for us. And that 8 minute repair window is part of the show as well. So we live stream what they're doing to the robots. The grinders come out, they're changing batteries, and we found last time that even people in the room, were locked in watching that. So like, hopefully it provides kind of a little bit of behind the scenes of what people are actually doing between matches, but really under a crunch. But definitely, the live stream is going to be cool.
Great. Yeah, because I want to make sure I would say that probably most of my watcher listener base is probably gonna want to watch that at least. So that's pretty exciting.
Awesome.
What's the overall day, going to look like? Like how long is this going to run? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess because we have the four teams, we're going to do it over 4 days. So we're going to have the two semifinals. I'm going to talk New Zealand time. So if you're in America, it's a day before. So our first match is on Thursday night. So that'll be Wednesday night in America. And that's going to be New Zealand versus Brazil. So that'll take 2 or 3 hours just to run through that match because, of the format. And then the winner of that is going to play on Sunday night against the winner of the second semifinal, which is playing Friday night, which is Australia and USA. So we've got basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. We've got matches. We'll be playing for third on Saturday and the grand final on Sunday. So, yeah.
That sounds like a very full 4 days for sure.
And on top of that, we're running an individual competition as well throughout the weekend. So, but those are our four main sort of international events. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking on the website and I saw that, in addition to the competition, like you do a lot there in terms of, having opportunities for people to come and play with robots and build robots and things like that. I mean, I assume that's just like kind of all part of the day to day of what Robot Rampage is doing aside from this event.
Yeah, so while we're not running featherweight events, we're doing things like corporate events, birthday parties. We've developed like a kit set where people can build a robot in an hour and a half. It's like a middleweight size, and then we fight them through a tournament. So then we reuse them and things like that. So we're doing lots of them. Connor's just opened up down there and is doing corporates and parties down in Christchurch because he's at the other end of the country. So that's really exciting as well. But yeah, we're doing all sorts of robot stuff. People are in the shop building their robots and things like that. So it's always something going on.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume too, like, especially with, you know, BattleBots kind of being different than what it was in the past, this affords a little bit of opportunity to, branch out and do your own thing in New Zealand. I mean, I honestly think that what, you like the group of folks that you have been doing for combat robotics in New Zealand is pretty incredible because I've never been there. It seems like a pretty small place compared to America. And, getting that scene going, where there's, not as many people to like pull from, I think is a pretty exciting thing. What I know you said with this event, hopefully like it grows in the future and you could add more teams. What other sorts of things are you working on, just in general?
Yeah, I think we're very like blessed to have a permanent combat robotic space here in Auckland, and Connor's actually got one in Christchurch as well. So New Zealand's got two sort of dedicated spots to do combat robots, which is super rare. Like I can't think of many other places. Maybe NHRL's got a dedicated place, but not many other places in the world have a place where you can just go down, use an arena, there's a workshop, and just build a robot. So I think that's been really great for our scene down here. Like we've got 21 featherweights in New Zealand now, which is crazy. Um, and we've only been running events for just over a year. So the community's really gotten behind us and they've been really awesome. Connor's been really good down in Christchurch too. I think we've got like 3 or 4 robots coming up from Christchurch, which I mean, how many thousand people in Christchurch? Like it's a city, but it's not an
Yeah.
American city,
It's not,
It's like
no,
it's like
no.
less than a million. It's like
Ti-
300,000 or 400,000, right? So
Yeah, a
Um,
town compared to American cities.
yeah, yeah. So it's really cool that there's the people in New Zealand are really enjoying it, which has been really cool to see.
Yeah,
But yeah,
400,000.
hopefully, yeah, yeah. So um, no, it's been awesome. But yeah, we do have big plans to go bigger and better, but we got to get this sort of stuff working first. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Is it exciting for you to get the opportunity to, have some folks there that have never experienced international combat? Because I think it's very different. It's something that I want to do. I want to be able to go to events internationally. I think that would be really exciting. But some of these folks, especially the ones coming over from the States, maybe some coming over from Brazil. Brazil maybe a little bit less because they go to America and things like that, but like the folks coming over from America may not have ever gotten to experience this. Like, is it cool to create something that can bring all of these people from everywhere together to fight robots?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like, we get to bring a whole bunch of our friends to New Zealand, right, and fight robots with them, and show them our space and tour them around New Zealand a little bit. So that's really exciting. It is a little bit different though when you're fighting overseas versus fighting like in your home country. Connor's been to Australia last year, and he flies up for our event, so he's basically a traveling team as well. What sort of like difficulties do you find with that?
Hacking, fitting it in the airplane bags. Like, one robot being 13 kgs, but then the bag weight being 23. You can't fit two robots in one bag. And so it's like this whole tearing it all the way down. You can't arrive with, three sets of assembled robots because, you got to effectively break it all down and then assemble in situ. Like, it's that and tools. Carefully bringing the right tools it's an art that I think now sort of I've got figured out what breaks and what tools I need. But if you've not done it before, you're gonna forget things.
Mm.
Yeah, that would definitely be a struggle. I've flown with a robot a couple of times, and I think the whole time I was looking at security like, are you sure that like you're not worried about this? Um, but I don't know. Maybe they see it more often than you think. Who knows? No, it's really exciting. Is there anything else like about this event in particular that you think that people should know, before it kind of comes around?
Yeah, I think it just if people know about it and they can tune in and support us, that would be awesome. We really want to get people to support their like home countries. So all the Americans jump on, support your American teams. Brazilians jump on, support your Brazilian teams, and Australians will do the same. So I think it'd be really cool to get a little bit of rivalry going and really really get people to cheer on their countrymen. So
Yeah, like I said, it's a good time of year for it. The Olympics are going to be going on at the same time, so I think everybody's just in that spirit already. And when you add robot combat into the mix, I think it just makes it even better. So I'm definitely here for it. I'm excited to watch it. Excited to kind of hear what the takeaways are from the competitors who get to experience it because of the format. I think it's great. I am looking forward to it, and I really hope that this inspires similar competitions. To do something a little bit different than maybe what we're used to seeing. If people want to find out more information, where's the best place that they can go to look for that?
yeah, just our website, robotrampage.co.nz. There's it's mostly tickets at the moment, but as we get closer to the time, we'll swap all that out for like links to the live stream and stuff. Or find us on YouTube. Our socials will have them all. So yeah, give us a follow. It's super handy to have people following us, just so we can reach out to other people, sponsors and stuff like that, because we do need sponsors to make this event work. So we've got some really awesome sponsors on board, particularly the Victoria University of Wellington supporting us, and because of them, we're able to bring some of these international teams to the event, which has been really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So for sure, if you're watching this, please make sure that you follow everything that Robot Rampage is doing and watch the event. And like give your feedback because I mean I certainly am really excited about it. So well, thank you, Connor and Jack, for joining me and talking about this. I look forward to watching it and following up with more once the event is complete.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and if people are watching this show, Please like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, all of those things. Let me know if you want to see more international content. I am all for doing that. So, yeah, please let me know and I'll make sure that I get it out there. And we will see everybody next time on the show.